Good evening and welcome to Reading to the 246. My name is Karen Wall, but you can call me Auntie Karen. Reading to the 246 is a space where children of all ages, including us adults, can learn facts about Barbados, islands across the region, and the world. A special shout out to our viewers on Facebook and YouTube. I want to say thank you for joining us, but also don't forget to subscribe, tag, and share. This evening's episode is also brought to you with the kind compliments of the National Union of Public Workers. The people who came before us shaped a lot of our lives. This week I visited and spent time with my grandmother, and I'm smiling because no matter how old I am, she always says, "Little girl, come here." She's my only surviving grandparent, and I am so happy my children and I can sit and still listen to the stories that she shares. The importance of celebrating our history through family and connections is one of the guiding points as we celebrate Black History this month. Additionally, recognizing the impact of Africa upon our food, culture, and music is another key factor of why the connection we share with our foreparents is so important, as they are the ones who impart the knowledge that we will share with generations to come. This brings me to this evening's creative. Please welcome Erica Asante. Welcome.
Thank you.
Erica Asante is a children's author, speaker, global health leader, and founder of Golden Cocoa Books. She embarked on her journey as an author and established Golden Cocoa Books to enrich children's literature with stories that celebrate and educate children about diverse cultures from around the world with a focus on Africa and the African diaspora. This mission is fueled by her travel to more than 20 countries on 5 continents. Her Ghanaian heritage and motherhood, Erica earned her master's degree from George Washington University and a bachelor's degree from the University of Maryland, College Park. She loves to travel the globe, watch movies from her couch, and conduct science experiments with her children. Erica currently lives in Texas with her husband and 3 children. To learn more about Erica and her work, you can visit her on her website, www.ericaasante.com. Okay, Erica, please share with our readers how your intergenerational links, along with the need to share your culture, inspired you on this journey.
Yes, thank you for having me. I this story in the story you'll see that there is a strong relationship between the little girl Amma and her nana, who's her grandmother. And I think that the relationship between myself and my grandmother is interesting because my grandmother lives in Ghana and I've lived in the US most of my life. But my grandmother visited us in the US, I think once when I was a young child, and then the next time when I had my wedding. So I have visited Ghana a number of times, and anytime I do connect with my grandma, it's full of stories, it's full of laughter, and she really helps me to understand our family traditions, my mom's history, things that maybe my mom never told us. And anytime I have questions, she has those answers for me, especially about our culture, who we are, where we came from, why we do things the way we do. She always has the answer. But I want to speak a little bit to the intergenerational link between my mother and my children. And that is a very strong relationship, especially due to proximity, because my mother lives in the US and we live in the US as well. And so my children speak to my mother often and they see my mother, every now and then when she comes to visit us. And so they have a very strong relationship with her. And so I think that that has been key to the journey and to this story in particular, both linkages.
So linkages not only so linkages flowing through the family line. So going from daughter to mother to grandmother, and now sharing it with your young children as well. When we come back after the break, We'll go right into story time with Erica as she reads an excerpt from her children's picture storybook, Threads of Me, Kente for show and tell. Okay, over to you, Erica.
Okay. Okay. Can you see it?
Yes, please.
Can I start reading?
Yes, please. You can go ahead.
Okay. All right. So the title of the book is Threads of Me, Kente for Show and Tell, written by myself, Erica Asante, and illustrated by Chengatai Masalutuni, who is based in Zimbabwe. When the school bus stopped in front of Ama's house, she hopped off in a hurry and ran home to tell Nana the exciting news. Nana had been born many years ago in a small town in the country of Ghana, located in West Africa. And Ama had been born in a big city thousands of miles away from Ghana. She was just a few weeks into school at Cardinal Street Elementary, but Nana and Ama were the best of friends. Mommy, Papa, good afternoon, Amma exclaimed. She sped past her parents and up the stairs to Nana's room. Nana, Amma shouted joyfully. Yes, my dear granddaughter, Nana replied. The theme for show and tell this week is who I am and where I come from. I need to bring something to class that represents my heritage, but I'm not quite sure what to take. Do you have any ideas? Asked Amma. Not saying a word, but with a huge smile, Nana lifted Amma into the air and sat her down on the bed. As Nana walked toward her purple gold trimmed treasure chest, Amma stood on the edge of the bed to get a glimpse of what Nana was pulling out. Nana pulled out a large gold box decorated with Adinkra symbols. May I tell you a story? Nana asked Amma. Oh, yes, Nana. I love hearing your stories. So I'll stop there.
Oh, we have to find out some more. So readers, if you want to find it, you have to get Threads of Me, show and tell. Okay, when we come back, we go right back to our interview. I absolutely love the relationship that Amma had with Nana. I want to pronounce it the way how you pronounce it.
Nana.
Nana. Did you also have a similar relationship with your Nana? And in what way has it shaped your journey?
Yeah, so I spoke to that a little bit. So yeah, so I have a good relationship with my Nana. She lives in Ghana. I live here, but I go to Ghana often. And when I do see her, we're able to connect, despite the fact that we are of different generations and also raised in two different parts of the world. My Nana is very open-minded, very cool. She's the type of person you can speak to about anything. There's nothing that's off the table. And so I think that makes for an excellent and for a good relationship. But she's also the matriarch of our family, the entire family. So she is the one that holds out of almost anyone in the family, she holds the history of the family. And because she's been around the longest, she knows the history of the family, and there's almost nothing that you ask her that she cannot answer. And so I really wrote about that piece to show the importance of passing down stories to the next generation. And it's the job of the elders to do that. And so, yeah, so that's what that piece is about. That relationship between Nana and Amma is about.
Okay, what is African awareness? And in the Caribbean, one of the things that we do to celebrate Black History Month is we usually dress in our African clothing. We would generally just go to a material store, we buy material, but many of us don't know the story behind Kente. Do you mind
Yeah.
sharing that with us? What is the real story? So we gain, an appreciation of the material and the patterns that we're buying.
Yeah. So, I mean, there is a difference between kente and then other African cloths. And so some Nigerians call it Ankara, East Africans call it Kitenge, but Kente is different on its own. And Kente is a hand woven cloth. It's a loom. It's a machine, like a not really a machine, but it's like the hands, yeah, the hands and the feet are doing the work to do the weaving of the Kente. And Kente originates from a place in Ghana called Bouire, and that is in the Asante region of Ghana. There are two areas actually. So it originates from Bouire. So that is where the Asante people live in the Ashanti region. But then there's also another type of kente that is also made by another group of people called the Ewe people, who their home base, in a sense, is the Volta region. But the thing about kente is that the story behind it is that there were two hunters, and those hunters were in the forest and saw a spider weaving a web. And when they saw the spider weaving the web, they thought that it was a beautiful thing, that the web was beautiful, and asked the spider to teach them how to weave, how to weave, not necessarily weave a web, but how to weave. And out of that, then the spider taught them. Anansi is a spider. And
Oh,
Anansi means spider in Akan, which is a dialect in Ghana, a language in Ghana. So Anansi taught them how to weave kente. And that is how kente came about. That's the story.
it's interesting that Anansi, which is
Yeah.
stories that I grew up on, and we just
Right.
call it Anansi as a name to find out today that Anansi actually means spider in Ghana. So actually, our readers are learning so much. Now,
Yes.
what is the significance behind the car symbols on the box? That's one of the things
Okay.
that I saw in the story.
So, oh, I should have brought it. So the Adinkra symbols on the gold box, there are four of them. I'll just speak to a few. And I think maybe you can see it better here. I'm not sure if it's too much light.
Yes.
Um, yes. So this is Sankofa, and you see it on the box of the book. Sankofa literally means go back and get it in Akan, language in Ghana, one language in Ghana. So go back and get
Sankofa.
it.
Sankofa.
Sankofa, Sankofa,
Sankofa. Mm. Go back and get it.
Sankofa, go back and get it. But in the non-literal mean translation, it's speaking to our heritage and to our culture, that it's never too late and it's not wrong to go back to find out who you are, where you come from. It's not too late to go back and find your heritage and reconnect. So that is it's a very powerful symbol. That's one of them. And then the other one is this one.
Mhm.
It has an Akan name, very long, but it's the ram's horn. So these are horns of rams put together. And it means that you can be strong, but you also must learn to be humble. You must also have humility. So that's what that means. And then there's another one, which I think a lot, I've seen people with tattoos and these symbols in their car. It's this one. I don't know if people can see it. This
No
one.
smart. The one there. Okay. Mm-hmm.
It's Jiyame. It
Jane.
basically Jiyame. It basically represents the supremacy of God. That God is the beginning, He's the end, He's the ultimate. And so those are what the symbols mean.
I Mm. Sorry, excuse me. Why is it important for young Black girls and boys to appreciate and honor our connections to Africa?
Yeah, I think it's important to honor that connection because I was doing a presentation last week and I was saying I really feel that Africa, which is made up of uh, 54 or even more countries, I think okay, 55, 54 countries, I believe, has gotten the short end of the stick. Africa has consistently and constantly been projected as a continent full of poverty and famine and corruption. And it has led many people, even some people that are born in the continent or that are born to parents that immigrated overseas, who want to disassociate themselves with Africa. And so I think it's really key for young boys and young girls, and even beyond the diaspora, to know more about the continent, to know more about the history, to know more about the various cultures and things, because they will begin to see that it's so much more than what they have seen and perceived, that they have seen. And I think it's important that you connect with every piece of yourself because for many people, this is a piece of their self. And not recognizing that, letting that go, or dissociating yourself from that is not even fair to you as an individual. And it helps to explain a lot of things. I know sometimes when people go back to Africa, like travel, they're like, oh, when I got to the streets, I just was like, I felt at home. Like
Mm.
I always wondered why I loved this, or I always wondered why. And it answers a lot of questions for a lot of people because they're reconnecting or connecting with a piece of the selves that they didn't know about, or perhaps they abandoned, or whatever the case may be. So I think it's really key and it's very important, to educate people about the continent. And that is diversity as well, because the languages are different from country to country. Cultures are different, foods are different, and so I think it's important. And lastly, also because there are connections. When I travel, especially to different countries, I just see how connected we are, and I'm always shocked. Like, and even in the United States, when I went to New Orleans, I saw so many connections and so many pieces and threads, African history and African culture woven right into, in New Orleans, wherever I would go, in the food, in the music, and things like that. So I think it's key to connect to that.
And that feeds right into our next question. How are you seeking to share your heritage to future generations, not just your stories?
I think the stories are the main piece. Also, because of the stories, I'm beginning to have events and things locally, and I get to actually show people Kente. I get to speak about the importance of preserving culture and history and passing stories down and passing the history and the culture down to children. You will actually find sometimes, I've met many people who will be like, oh, my children don't eat, my food. So somebody from Ghana could say to me, oh, my children don't eat any Ghanaian food. I mean, how is it that your children don't eat any Ghanaian food? Of course, there are things that we don't like, but how did it come to be that your children don't eat any Ghanaian food, but you do eat Ghanaian food in your house? I've learned that some people are actually giving their children something different, and they are also eating their traditional food, but maybe giving their kids maybe nuggets and fries or chicken and fries or something different. And that sends an alarming message to the child and puts a division already between you and the child's culture and the one that they live in. And so I get opportunities to speak to people about that as a result of the book. being able to speak about the importance of preserving and passing down your cultures, not even just for Africans, but for anyone. Um, that the story is about an African cloth, but the story can pertain to anyone about the importance of preserving and keeping your culture and passing it down. So, yeah.
As you were speaking, like when I visited my grandmother, one of the things she gave me was a dish of shepherd's pie. And that was perhaps one of the first meals that I ever made as a child. I remembered mashing the potatoes. Of course, I wasn't able to do the mincemeat and stuff, but I remember I just was so fussy that I was able to make something that was similar to what she had done. And my grandmother, she makes the same meals like every other week. So I know like if I turn up on a Wednesday afternoon, I am going to get shepherd's pie. If I turn up on probably a Saturday, I will get soup. So I grew up seeing that, seeing her in the kitchen, seeing her making these things. And that is her, like you said, food is passing on culture, steps to doing these things is what has shaped us. And now I'm able to share those things with my children as well. So I love how you share that. How can our readers get in contact with you or secure a copy of your children's book?
Okay. On Instagram, they can reach me at BYERICA so by Erica Asante. And then also checking my website, which is www.ericaasante.com. And buying the book, I don't know where all your readers are based mostly in Barbados, so I don't know if Amazon ships to Barbados.
Yes, it does.
But
It does.
Oh, good. Okay. Not all countries. Okay. So you can get it on Amazon or you can get it from the website, which is www.ericaasante.com. So either way.
Okay, readers, I hope you've been paying attention. Today's question goes, what symbols adorn the large gold box Nana shared with Amma? We saw Erica go through them. So readers, again, I hope you were paying attention. What symbols adorn the large gold box Nana shared with Amma? So you can share your answers in the chat across all of our platforms, Facebook, YouTube, and as well as Instagram when we share it to Instagram. Is there a special message that you want to share with our readers or that you want our readers to take away from this evening session?
I think Sankofa. Sankofa is basically it's never too late to connect with your roots, your heritage. And also I think one thing I just because you connect with a certain aspect of your heritage doesn't mean you completely abandon what you've learned and what you know. I've seen people kind of like be like, oh, well, I'm this, I cannot be that. You know what I mean? And so it doesn't mean you completely abandon what you know. It's just another piece of you. And so I think that that would be the message that I leave people with is connect, learn, about your heritage, whatever that may be. And so I think that's the message I would leave.
I love that. Sankofa. You can go back and still come forward. When we come back, it's time for a Bajan match up. Erica, are you ready?
Yes. When I hear matched up, I'm thinking dancing.
Now, our first question, is there a special way for us to wear the Kente cloth?
No, not necessarily, but there are ways to wear it, but there's no special way. So there, in the book, you will see that Amma wears her kente in a special way. It is traditionally wrapped. And so it doesn't really require like a seamstress to come and sew it into design or anything of that sort. But then there are other people, especially for engagements and events and things of that nature, that will have their kente, they give their kente to a tailor or a seamstress, and the kente will be, sewn into a design. It could be sewn into a short dress or a long dress, or it could be sewn into a skirt and a top. Some people take pieces of kente and put it into their t-shirts, or take a piece of kente, put it into their jeans. So there is no specific way for it to be worn. And there are traditional ways, but as time has gone on, people have do so much with kente. So there's no one way.
Okay, do you have any kente cloth that you can share with our readers?
Yes, so I do want to show you two, and I'll explain. So if you notice, when I was writing the book and I was sharing with some people, people kept saying, I'm missing the word cloth because people know kente cloth. But Ghanaians call this kente no cloth because kente is a hand woven cloth. So there's no need to say kente cloth. It's a repetitive. So this is the hand woven cloth. But I also have kente cloth, the print, which is not hand woven. It's cotton and it was manufactured in a factory. So this is what many of us know, what many of us see. The price of this hand woven cloth can range from anywhere from 150 to like $650.
Wow.
For about six yards, yes. But this you find it for a few, dollars. 6 yards maybe can be anywhere from maybe say $25 to $50 or something of that sort. Because the time that it takes to make this can range, I hear, anywhere from 3 to 6 months, depending on the size, depending on the complexity. So that there's a difference. So yes, so that is something I think a lot of people don't know.
Well, I definitely know now which one I'll be taking to the seamstress and which one I'll be using to wrap because I want that when I'm finished, I'm able to fold it up and be able to keep it for future use. So kente and kente cloth. Readers know the difference. Good.
So yeah, Ghanaians usually call it like kente print. So it's just a replica of kente. So yeah.
Oh, oh, good. A Bajan saying or dish that reminds you of your Ghanaian heritage.
Yes. So I think the dish that I can think of is we call it wache,
Watching.
but rice and peas. Yeah. So rice
Well,
and peas,
so you call it wache?
wache. So wache is basically it's rice and beans.
Oh,
And it originates from the northern part of Ghana, but people eat it all over Ghana. And people eat it for breakfast sometimes. And I love to eat it, and a lot of people like to eat it. So it's the rice and beans, it's stew, like a red stew, and then something called shito, which is like a shrimp pepper, tomato based kind of like condiment. We eat it with salad, egg, spaghetti, and dried cassava called gari. And we eat it all together and it's delicious. So it reminds me of rice and peas. And maybe if we did a little bit of research, we see a connection.
I had some wache, but I had the rice and peas version today for lunch.
So yeah. So watch is the rice and beans, but the watch is made with black eyed peas. I think
Yes, but Barbadians love black eyed peas. I have black eyed peas in my
Okay.
cupboard. Oh my gosh! Wow. So
Yeah, it's
definitely
made with black eyed peas. I think the one I've had, like the rice and peas I've had, was made with pigeon peas or some. I'm not sure, with different type
peas.
of peas.
Yeah, because we
Okay,
usually
but we
have.
use black eyed.
So we have. I think we use pigeon peas today, but usually when I buy peas, and my daughter is probably loving this because she's the one who pushes for peas. So she usually buys the black eyed peas. Excuse me, I've been fighting the cold. Black eyed peas, pigeon peas, and split peas. So those are the three peas that you will find in my cupboard.
Okay. So yes.
Now,
So yeah, that's the food I would say.
so next time I'm making black eyed, oh no, next time she's cooking the black eyed peas, I'll make sure I tag you in a picture of it.
Thank
Uh,
you.
a Ghanaian saying or word that will encompass our session this evening.
The same word I said before, sankofa. Go back and get it. You can always reconnect. You can always connect. And I think the other meaning also is that it seems people connected to the fact that your past will help you with your future, will help you to define your future. So knowing who you are, where you come from, is key to moving forward. So I've seen people also related to that. So yes.
And our final question, a little known fact about Ghana, sorry, that makes it extra special. Something that
Well,
I
it
can
was the
Google, something that I can't go on Google and find.
oh, I don't know. Well, I think you find all of this on Google, but I think it's important to know that it's the first sub-Saharan African country to have gained independence. And so they were colonized by the British and gained independence in 1957 with Kwame Nkrumah as the first president. So I think that that's key. Also, it's a top producer um, of cocoa beans.
Ah,
People call it cacao beans, and which is used to make chocolate. Also a top producer, I think the sixth largest in the world, I want to say, of gold for gold production. And so, yeah, it's a top 10 producer of gold in the world. So yes, so those are a few facts.
oh. So I'm liking the cacao. I hope I'm pronouncing these words properly.
Wait, I always say cocoa, and then but I've heard people say cacao. In other places they say cacao. I don't know there's two different things or what, but I always say cocoa. So that's what I call it.
But I'm sure the children are loving the idea of cocoa. I'm hoping that when I meet my readers, they go to me, "Hi, Auntie Karen. I love the cacao beans in my chocolate."
So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. That's it for our Bayesian mashup. When we come back, it's time for Simon Says. Now on our now on our previous show, Simon Says went on marked graves in an unconsecrated plantation cemetery. For there you will find the old me. I'm gonna repeat it. Simon Says went on marked graves in an unconsecrated plantation cemetery. For there you will find the old me. And if you know about the history of Barbados, we're talking about the Newton slave burial ground that you can find in Christchurch. So you can actually was an old slave, old plantation, and they were doing some excavation, I guess, and they found an old mass slave burial ground. So that is now a World Heritage Site. This week, Simon Says goes, freedom came calling. So to a village on fertile land, we made our sanctuary home. Emancipation, emancipation. Let me read it for you again. This week, Simon Says goes, freedom came calling. So to a village on fertile land, we made our central home. Emancipation, emancipation. Who, what, or where am I? And remember, children and parents, to like, comment, and share on our Reading to the Two First Dates Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube pages. Special thanks to you, Erica Asante, for agreeing to be part of the Reading to the Two First Dates family. You can visit her at www.ericaasante.com or on Instagram at BYERICAASANTA by Erica Asante. Before we go, Erica, do you have anything to add?
No, I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
And thank you definitely for agreeing to join us. Now, finally, I hope everyone had an enjoyable weekend. I hope you've been going out and enjoying the different festival. I had a great time at the Whole Time Festival last night. And next week, we have Barbados' biggest agricultural festival coming up, AgriFest. Now, I have 3 birthday shout outs. I want to say happy birthday, happy 18th birthday specifically to one of my farmer students and one of our readers here on Reading to the Two First Dates. Demario, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to my mom as well. She's celebrating today as well. And my mother-in-law. So I have a full gamut of birthdays. And my mother-in-law, she will be celebrating tomorrow. And she's also one of our readers. She normally joins us here on Reading to the Two First Dates. And of course, we can't forget the Honorable Robin Rihanna Fenty. She'll be celebrating tomorrow as well. Now, a quick reminder about accomplishing your reading goals for 2023. And special thanks to our sponsor for this show, the National Union of Public Workers. And finally, I want to remind you that reading takes you where your imagination can't. Until next time, bye. Have a great evening.